Hi, folks. We'll give it just a few for people to get joined. Hannes, I like your name.
Tim, quick question. Do we have a Burndown tomorrow? I don't see it on my calendar.
Oh, good question. There should be. Let me see. Yes, so there should be. I have it on the on my calendar. I'm just checking the other one, the master main. Huh. I will look into that. I guess anybody else, if you could confirm that you have seen that. It should be 10 a.m. tomorrow.
I have a calendar invite for tomorrow.
Okay. I'll follow up with you, Aish, to try to figure out why you're not.
Sure, no problem. I wouldn't be able to attend tomorrow. That's why I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then
no
no
worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it for next Friday. Anyway.
Okay. I'll go ahead and get started. It's 2 minutes past. I'm Tim Pepper, your Release 112 lead. As always, this is a recorded meeting. Like all of our Kubernetes community meetings, it is being recorded. It will be uploaded to YouTube for the Kubernetes channel shortly after the meeting. I'm expecting a relatively quick meeting today. Not a lot has changed yesterday specifically, but actually a lot of things have changed. So I'll kind of highlight those briefly. The meeting notes agenda, I'm pasting into the Zoom. They're in their normal spot. And the normal standing sort of agenda will run through the release Burndown. So timeline still RC next week and release in theory. The target remains September 25th. Based on how little has really been resolved this week, I'm leaning towards making a call on Monday to delay slightly.
But G doesn't. Oh, sorry.
So considering giving it a couple day delay, so looking at Thursday the 27th, depending on how things go. That said, let's dive into CI signal report. So virtually nothing has changed there since yesterday, except we have an understanding of why some things that were expected to be changing have not changed. So we're actually thinking that a number of fixes that were sort of pending, but for confusing reasons hadn't flowed in. We have a sense of why that's happening and roadmap to fix this morning. So I'm slightly positive that today, tomorrow, we're actually going to see some good changes there, but virtually nothing's changed. The taint nodes by condition work is ongoing, but still sort of pending getting some things merged that had confused the status. Sebastian, do you have any updates on any of the GKE related issues?
So yeah, it's been assigned to the on-call. Pinging some of the leads to actually get some more progress on this. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't have much information. I'm new to the team, so it's really hard for me to debug. And so that's why I pinged the league to figure it out, because this is obviously blocking everyone, and we need to know what's going on. So yeah, like I don't have much update today, but
okay. Okay, I appreciate the attention.
So for whatever it's worth, it's also breaking pre-submits that tend to run the GKE tests. Not all pre-submits or not all K8s pre-submits run those tests, but those that do, it's also failing all of those. So it's been escalated internally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just jotting that in the notes. The next one then on the list, 68383, the horizontal pod autoscaler instability. Sally has been debugging. There's a pull request there, something to help with debugging, but it's stalled out. The tests are currently failing. But I feel like if this over the next day or two becomes our one remaining symptom, we're actually in pretty good shape, and we have the subject matter expert on it. So I'm kind of waiting to see how that plays out here in the next 24, 48 hours. Before suite failures, I think we've effectively touched on that with the commentary from Google. Anything else to mention there?
I guess nothing. That's the main status of the test so far. We have been following them up, so it's good. I think I should been very happy with the GK stuff, which is really awesome. Thanks, Aish, and I hope we get to that status very soon. One thing is the couple of tools that we use are down, like the Kubernetes, which might be a problem for debugging tests. So they are not showing up the customer information here. So that's one of the primary tools that we use for prior and stuff. So
open an issue against test infra on that, and that'll draw eyes there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one on the list, 68314, this is the storage related things that Michelle's been working on. She thought she had a fix. It didn't flow correctly into 1.11, and we've done some looking trying to understand if or what should have been picked up when or where. And Aaron yesterday made a really nice document that describes how we figure out what code should be under test. So that's a huge documentation improvement. And based on that, then last night I did a little more debugging and was able to figure out that we actually have a problem. His documentation of how it's supposed to work didn't reflect what was going on. And then that led to some understanding of the actual problem here, that we're not having code flow in where it's supposed to. And overnight, Ben Elder was up like all night, apparently, based on timestamps on Slack and GitHub, debugging, and has a fix coming in now, it looks like. So hopefully we see that resolve. And there's a few other things that seemed lingering where it was confusing why something that should have helped wasn't, seeming to be under test even. So hopefully that makes a notable improvement on things. Next one on the list, 67600, the DNS config map federations. So that one is fixed on master. It's gone away. So awesome progress there. It's not fixed on the 112 branch, but I think that should correlate with the other problems we're seeing where things aren't flowing to branches correctly in terms of the image building and testing. So we just have a lot of test results that are stale, and hopefully that clears up then as well. The load balancing issue we've already decided won't be blocking, and we do have a fix in sight there. Looking at test grid, looking at the release 112 all and blocking, things are actually starting to look like they could clean up. If we get the storage fix in, we get the DNS config map fix in, and some of the taint nodes by condition things actually flow in, we may actually start looking like we're in pretty good shape. So for that reason, I changed the CI status from red to yellow, just because I feel like we have some line of sight on fixes. If over the next 24, 48 hours things improve, we could actually be starting to look yellow trending green even, which would be awesome. If not, on Monday, we're going to be kind of getting towards pants on fire, yellow trending red, and delaying release to figure out what the next layer of the onion here is. I don't know if we have Gwen today for issue updates. I haven't had a chance to look at issues either, just because of the focus on the test status of things. So I'll ping her for a more concrete update on that tomorrow. Moving on then to features. So I've kind of dropped this for the moment from the agenda. I think after last week's push, we've pretty much got a handle on things. We've got 40 features, I think is the number in, and they're all on target at this point. Aside perhaps from docs, although Zach, it looks like missing docs count has now gone to 0.
That is correct. We are just missing the one that I have mentioned to you from Mr. Mike, which I guess he was at the office, and so that's totally understandable. It's one, but it's in 2 features, so technically missing one, though it's in two places. That's it. I've been a merging machine, and so we were looking like this is going to be awesome. Like,
Cool.
we're merged. If everything is done before Tuesday, I'm happy.
I would have been happier if it was the 7th, closer to the
Sure.
deadline. But
Right.
yeah, we are yeah, I mean, just the number there, 93%. Hey, we're making good progress.
We are almost there.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, then release notes next. Nick. On mute, maybe? I see you there. Maybe
Yes,
not.
I was on mute.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so we are going well.
You might have just cut out. If you can hear us, not hearing you.
Which we thought would be fine, but it turns out to be ridiculous. So we're just gonna kind of pick the one that seems the most appropriate and get rid of the rest of the duplicates. Does anybody have any objections to that?
I missed most of what you said, and I see other people smiling. So we heard basically, so does anybody have any suggestions? Something about
no, not
duplicates.
suggestions, objections.
Objections. But
Yeah,
we
so-
missed the key nouns and verbs in the sentence, I think.
Sorry. Can you guys hear what I'm saying now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So the way that the document is currently constructed, every release note appears in every section for which it was tagged. So if you tagged your PR for 4 SIGs, we have 4 copies of that release note. We had originally left it figuring a couple of duplicates would be okay, but it turns out to be ridiculous how many duplicates there are. So unless anyone has any objections, we're just going to pick the SIG for which we feel the note is most appropriate and delete it from the rest. Does anybody have any objections?
I think that's reasonable. I would maybe say pragmatically, if it does seem like if you have some that are potentially important for a couple of the SIGs to see, maybe not just limit it to one, but be pragmatic about it. Sure. If it seems like it could use that, if it's something that would merit that sort of visibility. But I do think condensing the overall length would mean people are more likely to read through as opposed to skimming quickly, and then they might see things that are relevant better as well. So.
Okay, good. So then that's it for us. We're well into copy editing, and people have already started to submit the major themes. So I'm very thrilled with my team. My shadows have been awesome. So
sweet.
Yeah.
So Dems asked the perennial question in the agenda there. Do we have the list of latest dependencies? This has always been a problem right around now. We don't have automation for culling this to my knowledge yet, unless is that something that Mike had started looking at possibly?
You know, it would be a good thing for us to look at kind of an automated way to do that, and that might be something that Mike wants to look at in 113. What I had planned to do for 112 was what we had done in 111, which worked pretty well, which was basically start with the previous releases version section and just update as the PRs, as we hit the PR. So there's already 2 or 3 or 4 that I've seen that say, you know, bumped this to that version, etc. So that worked out pretty well in 111. So I was going to do it again in 112. Dims, if you have another suggestion, I am totally up for
it. That actually sounds good for now. Maybe we should talk about it in retrospective too.
A great idea.
I am typing this into the retro right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, while you're there, the other one, Tim, I don't know if you already have a placeholder, is we shipped beta 2, but we don't have instructions on how somebody can download and test beta 2.
Yep, that was in the prior retros as well, and we haven't been able to act on that. So I will note that
carry forward that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, communications. Caitlin, I know I gave you some feedback yesterday on key messages. I'm not sure if you've gotten the info you were looking for also from Stephen, and then I'd also looped in Aish also to start giving her some visibility on this stuff ahead of the next release where she'll be more involved. Anything else
great.
you're looking for? Okay.
Nope, I have everything I need. I'm just cleaning up the media FAQ and blog post this week, and then we are good to start pitching next week. We'll just want to make a call on the embargo date.
Yep. So I will make a call on Monday on that, and thank you for the reminder on Wednesday yesterday that we got to make that call because it needs to propagate out there. So we'll look for that call on Monday, and I'll let you know.
Perfect.
Okay, that is basically the end of the agenda. There's a few things there tacked on the agenda for 113, future miscellaneous bits of stuff that we've given a mention to in each of the prior meetings. Just be thinking about where we're headed next. Anything else anyone wants to talk about with urgency today? All right, if not, I'm going to go back to crossing my fingers and watching test grid and seeing if there's any PRs that need moved ahead for fixing things there. So fingers crossed. With a little luck today, tomorrow things are going to settle out positively. We will see. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.